No, I'm really good friends with Kourtney Kardashian, but just friends.
No, you guys are dating.
No, we're friends.
Paris Hilton.
Did date her.
And I know you dated Tara Reid.
I did.
GGW, the Untold Story, and how did this all become like such a cultural touch point? Well, there were parodies like nobody's business. So many people referenced it, all the way up to someone who was running for president.
He had a private plane, and he would fly people down.
Joe Francis has the most beautiful airplane.
And his branding, the Girls Gone Wild branding, is also seen on celebrities and on famous people all the time. And that is going to be seen by millions of people because these gossip blogs that are starting to come in and really usurp traditional gossip media are putting those photos everywhere.
It's all in good spirit or it's all in good fun. And you weren't fun if you didn't actually kind of get it.
Now, that last picture, she just looked uncomfortable, but that was how it was, because you got to remember, like, blogs and social media and all this stuff were a relatively new phenomenon. Even like that one that was like, what would Tyler Durden do? I think that's hilarious, because most people don't actually know what Fight Club is about, because, well, there's a lot of reasons. So first comes all the fan worship and all the celebrities like, oh my God, he's the greatest person ever. This is amazing. Then you get into the parodies.
Mad TV,
There's a new Girls Gone Wild Barbie.
Arrested Development.
Stop it. You've got nothing to gain from that?
It's easy for you to say. You already have a hat.
It became a cultural touch point.
Everyone turned it into a joke and funny because that kind of softens it and you don't actually have to look at it for kind of what's really going on, right?
If you laugh at something like Girls Gone Wild, it kind of takes away the danger of it. And I think we were all really distracted by laughing at it because it was kind of a ludicrous concept.
Absolutely. And it literally went everywhere. Like, you couldn't, in this time, you couldn't sneeze sideways without running into something that was GGW related or reference or something. It was huge. Like, I cannot get across how big this was.
And it softened all of the edges around Girls Gone Wild. So you couldn't see how jagged it was because you were only looking at the joke version.
Well, wait till you see my video, Carrie Gone Wild.
Another aspect that softened it was people didn't actually know what this was. And to this day, some people still don't know that this was not just girls and at spring break. This was actually some pretty intense stuff. And I mean, like, really intense stuff. And they describe what they did with the infomercials as a Trojan horse to get this very hardcore stuff into people's homes.
What those ads were, at least in a sense, were Trojan horses, because the girls in the back of the bus, they'd had full-on scenes. You couldn't sell that piece of footage on Comedy Central. There are decency laws.
Even while I've been doing this series, I'm seeing comments of people really not realizing that. And what was the excuse from the company as to why they were really doing this when essentially I think the Trojan horse is more accurate, but, you know, all the mental gymnastics.
It wasn't because he was trying to hide what he was doing. He was trying to get it out there legally. Take that out, take the out, let's put more fluff, you know, more beach scenes, more DJs playing, and cut that real quick, and we got an infomercial.
I'm sure it didn't have anything to do with the fact that there are regulations in those industries. There are certain things that you have to do, certain protections in place, and you can't have 16-year-olds in them. So yeah, I'm sure he wasn't trying to hide anything. These tactics weren't just relegated to how they dealt with the way that this was distributed. They had a lot of tactics when it came to luring.
Basically, my job on the road with them was making sure they weren't, like, partying too much. I was like, Mommy, I had to make sure they were getting that footage. My job was to make sure they were luring for the show, not themselves. It was completely luring, you know. I mean, luring sounds bad, but that was what we had to shoot somebody, so yeah, we had to lure, but that's how we got them.
Luring tactics, there were several. They hired hot cameramen, even though you kind of can't tell from the testimonials now. Back in the day, they would have been considered pretty good looking. If they had a friend who was too shy, but they didn't want to shoot her other friend, and she said she'd only shoot with a friend, then they would fake shoot one of them and then shoot the other one and never use the other footage and basically just put the one they thought was hot enough in the video. They would give them a lot of alcohol. There's a lot of reports of girls not really remembering how they got on the bus or remembering that someone had to like walk them onto the bus because they were stumbling so bad. A lot of stuff like that. Basically whatever they could do to talk them into it, and this was an official business model.
You even pay them. I heard that are we allowed to pay them on some accounts?
Yes, that's what we do. Like, we don't want you to go out there and
promise these girls a whole lot of money that maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, a lot of girls, as you know, do this stuff for a t-shirt.
That was just an excerpt from a much longer conversation that honestly, I don't think I could post it on TikTok. It was horrible, but the woman's voice, she's telling them ways that you can coerce them, way that you can lure them, these sorts of things.
Girls had no clue. Not to mention, they're in the middle of the heat of a moment, and they hear $100, and they're like, that gets us one more spring break day? They're not thinking, that gets me what? $100? Like, I should be getting paid thousands. A couple $100? That's nothing in comparison to the millions, millions Joe was gonna make off of it. And B, what it was gonna cause them pain and suffering-wise down the line.
Next part, we're going to talk about the FBI raid, which ended up costing him $2.1 million, even though they found a heck of a lot of stuff, and they've still got that footage somewhere in a vault, which they're very clear about. The personal impact that this had on quite a few people, including a journalist named Claire Hoffman, and if you want to read ahead, you can go ahead and look at that, and I'll see you then.